What would you say are the roles and responsibilities of the teacher and the student in the teacher-student relationship?
Few roles and responsibilities are very significant. Number one, the responsibility of a teacher, let me tell you, role and responsibility. Don't be selfish. Money should not be the motive. And please do not take advantage of human frailties, or let's say the weakness of your students. Remind yourself, as a teacher, you remind yourself that when you are a student and a seeker, what were your own circumstances? Had your own teacher taken advantage of all those circumstances, how painful it could have been. Similarly, you keep reminding here that somebody has come to you. It is a great honor, it is a great privilege that you are now being instrumental in guiding and helping someone else. It is a privilege. It is not just a simple opportunity for worldly purpose. It is a great privilege. It's a great honor. And be grateful to the divinity, to the circumstance, to the providence which gave you that privilege. Be grateful to that. And this way, maintain that humility which always helps you shine your teachership, being a teacher. That's what your role should be. And try your best not to make a list of your students' follies and weaknesses. And even if you have to make any mental list of that, there should be positive reason behind it. And never ever remind the weakness of your students too often. I have seen, this is what I was told while my own teacher was, in order to make sure that I understood what he was telling, he used to give example of such and such teacher, such and such teacher. So in my own tradition, there was a teacher who used to pick up the telephone 3 in the night, call his students and saying, "Are you meditating? Isn't that it's the morning?" He used to tell everybody that best time to meditate is between 12 and 3, which is so odd. Right. It's time to sleep. It's kind of, you are digesting your food. And if, as that teacher used to say, and if you cannot meditate between 12 and 3, then 3 to 6. So 3 o'clock, 3:15, are you awake, doing your meditation? Giving this feeling that here I remain awake for you whole night to give you push in your meditation. This is not to be done. First thing, you picked up the telephone and you called your student, and after you have already created room for guilt in your student's mind, then you go back to bed and sleep. So how many harmful things you are doing, harmful to yourself and harmful to your student. So this is what a teacher must pay attention to. Inspire your student, remind your student that mistakes are not something horrible, and none of our strengths and weaknesses can be hidden from the eyes of the inner divinity. And if you made some mistakes here and there, it's not a big deal. Never tell your students that if one day you didn't do your practice, then you slid one whole lifetime backward. That's what that teacher used to tell his students. And then every students that you are the only now my savior, And then the savior,
It creates a dependency,
guilt, etc. What about students? Students' roles and responsibility. The students' role and responsibility is try your best to do your practice. And if, let's say, you are not, you are doing your practice according to your fullest capacity, and if you are not seeing much change and transformation in yourself, tell your teacher. And have a dialogue with your teacher. Have next session with your teacher in terms of figuring out. And do not start proclaiming yourself to be a great teacher right in the very beginning when you are still a student. So at a premature stage, just go, don't start teaching everybody, hey, I learned this thing, because still there might be many subtle things which may not have surfaced so far. Therefore, you may not even know that they were the things to be done or not to be done as part of your practice. So it is only when you are fully confident that the practice that you were taught and the practice you did really works very well, and unless you are fully confident that large range of the subtleties of the practice, do not start becoming a big teacher right away. So that's the kind of role and the responsibility of a student should be.